The Philadelphia Phillies have just experienced the most catastrophic and humiliating collapse in recent Major League Baseball history, and it all unfolded in a matter of hours that left the entire sports world completely speechless. What began as a routine game against the Los Angeles Dodgers quickly spiraled into an organizational meltdown of historic proportions. Four key players were suddenly designated for assignment in a shocking front office purge. An opposing pitcher and first baseman directed deeply insulting remarks and engaged in outrageous misconduct directly toward Shohei Ohtani, drawing immediate and severe penalties from the umpiring crew. The Phillies manager was abruptly fired in a decision that sent tremors through the entire National League. And to top it all off, a full-scale brawl erupted inside the Phillies clubhouse that left teammates, coaches, and front office personnel completely stunned. How did one of baseball's most recognizable franchises fall apart so completely and so suddenly? What exactly did that pitcher and first baseman say and do to Shohei Ohtani that crossed every line of professional conduct? And who threw the first punch when the Phillies clubhouse finally exploded? When the final out of the Dodgers game was recorded and Los Angeles walked away with the victory, the mood inside the Philadelphia dugout was already tense. Players sat in silence. Coaches avoided eye contact. And the atmosphere that had been building throughout the game finally reached its breaking point the moment the team retreated from the field. But what happened next had nothing to do with the loss itself. The real story was already developing on multiple fronts simultaneously, and by the time the sun set over Citizens Bank Park, the Philadelphia Phillies would never look the same again. The trouble had actually begun during the game itself, long before the final out was recorded. In what witnesses described as one of the most disrespectful and unprofessional incidents seen on a Major League Baseball field in years, the Phillies pitcher and first baseman directed a series of insulting remarks toward Shohei Ohtani that immediately drew the attention of both dugouts, the umpiring crew, and every camera positioned around the stadium. According to multiple sources present at the scene, the comments were not subtle. They were loud, deliberate, and specifically targeted at the Japanese superstar in a manner that those who witnessed it described as completely unacceptable by any standard of professional conduct. The umpires moved quickly. The crew chief immediately issued warnings to the Phillies bench and called both managers to the mound for an urgent conversation that lasted several minutes. Players on both sides watched carefully from their dugouts as the situation threatened to spiral completely out of control. Sources inside the Dodgers dugout revealed that several Los Angeles players had to be physically restrained from leaving the bench when they heard what was being directed at their teammate. Mookie Betts, speaking after the game, did not mince words. He said that what happened out there today was completely unacceptable. He said that Shohei Ohtani is not only the best player in this game but one of the most respectful and professional human beings anyone in that clubhouse has ever met. He added that nobody, under any circumstances, has the right to speak to another person that way on a baseball field or anywhere else. Betts made clear that every single player in the Dodgers dugout was furious and that the team fully supported Ohtani without question. Shohei Ohtani himself, true to his legendary composure and character, responded to the misconduct in the only way he knows how. He stepped back into the batter's box, adjusted his helmet, and delivered a performance that silenced every critic and left the entire stadium in absolute awe. Sources close to Ohtani revealed that the Japanese superstar never said a single word in response to the taunting. He simply smiled quietly, walked back to his position, and let his play do all the talking. That response, those who know him well say, is exactly what makes Ohtani different from everyone else in the sport. Manager Dave Roberts addressed the misconduct directly during his post-game press conference and made it clear that the Dodgers organization had already filed a formal complaint with Major League Baseball regarding the incident. Roberts said that he expected the league to take swift and decisive action and that the behavior directed at Ohtani was beneath the dignity of the sport. He said that there was absolutely no place in this game for that kind of conduct and that the penalties handed down by the umpires during the game were only the beginning of what the Phillies players involved should expect to face. Major League Baseball confirmed shortly after the game that both the Phillies pitcher and first baseman had been removed from the game following the umpire's decision to issue ejections after reviewing the full extent of the misconduct. The league also announced that a formal investigation had been opened and that additional disciplinary measures, including potential suspensions and significant fines, were under active consideration. The penalties handed down were described by analysts as among the most severe seen in a regular season game in recent memory, reflecting just how seriously the league was taking the incident. But even as the baseball world was still processing the shocking misconduct on the field, an even more explosive development was already unfolding inside the Phillies front office. In a decision that stunned the entire organization, the Phillies ownership group officially announced that manager Rob Thomson had been abruptly relieved of his duties effective immediately. The firing, which came without warning and was delivered directly after the loss to the Dodgers, sent the Philadelphia clubhouse into a state of complete chaos. Sources inside the organization revealed that ownership had been growing increasingly frustrated with the direction of the team for several weeks and that the events of this particular game had served as the final breaking point. The misconduct involving Ohtani, the performance on the field, and the overall atmosphere inside the clubhouse had collectively convinced the ownership group that an immediate and dramatic change was necessary. The decision to fire the manager was made within hours of the final out and communicated to the coaching staff before the players had even finished changing. Veteran players on the Phillies roster described the firing as a gut punch that came completely out of nowhere. Several members of the team had considered the manager a father figure and a stabilizing presence in what had already been a difficult season. One player, speaking anonymously to reporters gathered outside the clubhouse, said that the whole thing felt surreal. He said that one moment everything seemed like it might still be salvageable, and the next moment everything was gone. And then, just when it seemed impossible for the situation to deteriorate any further, it did. In what sources described as the most chaotic scene inside a professional sports clubhouse in recent years, a full-scale brawl erupted among Phillies players in the moments following the announcement of the manager's firing. According to multiple witnesses, the confrontation began when two veterans clashed over the direction of the team and the responsibility for the season's failures. What started as a heated verbal exchange escalated rapidly into a physical altercation that pulled in multiple players and required coaches and team staff to intervene physically to separate the individuals involved. The brawl lasted several minutes and left the clubhouse in complete disarray. Equipment was overturned. Lockers were damaged. And the atmosphere inside that room, according to those who witnessed it, was unlike anything anyone associated with the Philadelphia Phillies had ever experienced in their careers. By the time order was restored, the damage, both physical and emotional, was already done. Compounding the chaos inside the clubhouse, the Phillies front office made yet another stunning announcement that dropped like a bomb on an already devastated organization. Four key players had been officially designated for assignment in a sweeping roster move that made clear just how dramatically and decisively the front office intended to reshape the team in the immediate aftermath of this disastrous day. The 4 DFA'd, coming simultaneously and without any prior public indication that such moves were being considered, represented one of the most aggressive organizational purges seen in baseball in recent years. Personnel analysts and former executives who spoke to reporters throughout the evening described the moves as a clear signal from ownership that a complete rebuild and cultural reset was underway in Philadelphia. The players designated for assignment had collectively represented a significant portion of the team's veteran leadership core, and their removal in a single sweeping action sent an unmistakable message about the direction the organization intended to take going forward. Freddie Freeman, upon hearing the full extent of what had unfolded in Philadelphia throughout the course of the day, shook his head slowly and said that he had never seen anything like it in all his years in this league. He said that baseball is a tough game and that every organization goes through difficult periods. But he added that what happened in Philadelphia today was something entirely different. He said it was a complete and total collapse of everything that holds a team together, and that it was genuinely difficult to watch, even from the outside. Manager Dave Roberts closed the evening by returning to the subject of Shohei Ohtani and the misconduct that had started the entire chain of events. He said that through all of it, through everything that happened today both on and off the field, Shohei Ohtani conducted himself with more class and more dignity than anyone had any right to expect. He said that Ohtani's response to everything that was thrown at him today was a reminder of exactly why he is not just the best player in this sport but one of the finest examples of professionalism and character that this game has ever seen. The Philadelphia Phillies will wake up tomorrow as a fundamentally different organization. And the baseball world will be watching very closely to see what comes next. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting and up-to-date baseball news and updates.